Hey!
Who is this guy?
Who is this guy? Who's this guy?
I'm Joe.
I'm James, and this is Omin Mesa Saga, or Omin Mesa Saga, the telling, where I tell you the story. So far, we're still in the backstory.
Shall I begin?
I shall.
Alright.
It's gonna be crazy.
The council explains Lumen's full potential and the limits they have decided to set in place. The limits they have set.
That he can, yeah. He's been granted wishes. They're like his infinite genie, but they put in limits because he was just a little overboard with it.
I see.
Because he's like, oh, so I wish for this, I wish for this, I wish for this. And they're like, oh, okay, you know.
Calm down, you.
Calm down. How about one every day?
Okay.
A day on his home planet is 36 hours on our planet. So every 36 hours, he can make a new wish. And he doesn't have to be like very specific or tricky about it, because one of his first wishes was, it says, I wish no matter what I wish for, that it comes true in the way that I want it to be now and in the future.
Oh.
Yeah. And if that was your only wish, you just wasted it. But he gets more.
Okay.
So no matter what he wished, if it had not turned out right, then it wouldn't have turned out that way.
So, Lumen then sent on his first mission to stop or distract an evil force trying to find where the council resides.
Can you guess which one he ends up doing? Stopping or distracting?
Distracting.
Yeah, totally distracting. He's still young.
Okay.
He's maturity for it to attain, like teenage years are like 400 to 500 years old.
Okay.
He is not even a teenager.
Really? Oh, he's
not even a teenager.
So he's still a kid.
He is a kid, and but he's powerful. He's a titan. He's a mortal race, but he's just a kid, and he's sent on this mission to stop or distract a group of I guess bandits, space bandits or something, from finding the council. Because if you find the council, you answer the riddle. That you go inside, they judge your fate, and they can grant you domain over an element.
Oh, okay. So Lumen underestimates his opposition and dies.
Just straight up gets killed.
Oh dear.
They're like, yo, kid, go away. And he's like, no, I'm here to stop you. And then they like beat him up to death.
Oh, okay. That didn't go so well.
No. Just...
Well, there's hope.
Yeah.
There's hope. So, Lumen's unresting soul is saved by his powers and finds its way into a new body that he takes over.
He anticipated dying.
Oh, okay.
So he made this wish that if he dies, his soul can remain in sort of an in-between world until he can find a new body.
Okay.
And that's what he does. He ends up refining it a little bit, just like a little bit later here.
So, Lumen plants trees all over the universe where worthy body candidates that will transfer his soul upon death. So, what does that mean exactly?
Okay, so like, let's say you found a tree like outside your house, and Lumen dies, and you go and you touch that tree, and Lumen decides that your body is good enough that he can use his soul to take over your body and use it to fight.
Ah, okay.
Then he'll do that. He'll transfer his soul to your body. Now, your soul gets to remain in there, but he sort of battles for supremacy over your body.
Okay.
And when he wins, because he will, he like collects your soul as part of him. It's sort of horrifying. It's just straight up horrifying for the other soul in there.
Okay.
Because you know he's just gonna go get himself killed. He's gonna destroy your body.
No more body for you.
No,
Sorry.
you're gonna die.
Lumen finds the ones who killed him before, but they overpowered him again.
He just didn't think it through.
And they kill him.
Because he was actually, it explains that later. Why he died again.
So we just hold off on that, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like, there you guys are. Is that kid again? Get him!
The creature, Ra Mephisto, travels to this universe to enslave it, but is immediately sent to Hexel's dead world.
That's not important right now. That's just something I thought needed to be mentioned for the timeline. Like,
okay.
Oh, by the way, this happened here.
Just a little blip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of you know who he is. Like 2.
So Garo?
It's pretty much anything's acceptable, but I call him Gororo.
Gororo. Gororo?
Gororo. I told you it'd be important later.
Gororo is locked away as stone.
Oh yeah.
His soul splits in 7 parts.
Oh yeah.
Trapped within 7 sacred symbols.
Oh yeah.
That grant the owner his power.
Can you guess who did that?
By the geek known as...
the geek did it.
Piggy. Ooh. So Lumen takes the body of many more, bringing all their souls within him every time in order to find
Soul Bus.
and defeat his near greatest rivals. After
those jerks.
After dying in his attempts many more times,
he realizes
that each new body is weaker than the last.
Can you imagine what those guys are thinking?
What is this hell I'm in?
Why is this? No, like the bandits. Like they're searching for this council. They want to be. They want to be immortals. They want to be gods in their own right.
Okay.
They're not great people. But the council doesn't want them there. So they send their guardian, and their guardian doesn't give up. Even though they kill him, he's still there. And can you just imagine what it's like to seek the Holy Grail and have an invincible knight who keeps getting killed coming after you?
Where does he keep coming from?
We just killed you! Your body's right there!
So Lumen uses his powers to create a new revival path. With just a few more tries with his body intact, he is finally able to kill his opponents.
Yeah. So, like, he didn't catch this at first, but every time he takes over somebody else's body, he forgets to train it and make it stronger.
Okay.
So, and not all of his soul can beef up the new body to what his old strength was, which wasn't even enough. So each one was weaker than the last. And he just kept rushing into battle, which he can...
Not realizing that he was getting weaker.
Right, and I'm not going to go into too much detail about how he keeps getting there, but he does have a moment of wishes, so he can get to anywhere he wants pretty quickly. That's just a thing. And so he's like, well, wait a minute. He finally realizes how weak he is, and he's like, I need a new way to revive myself. And after coming to that realization, he creates this other revival path of which, if his body is still salvageable, then he will revive inside his body. That body will revive, and it will become twice as strong as he was before he died.
Okay.
And after a few times of his body still being salvageable and this happening, he was finally strong enough to overcome his foes.
I see. Okay.
So he's learning. He's learning how to just be a jerk himself.
So Bushido takes an apprentice of time control. They start work on a time machine.
This is also not supposed to be known, really. At Bushido's, I forgot when he was granted dominion over the council. He was given 2 powers, Time God and Ice King.
Okay.
So he has full control of time, so that because there's so many fates being decided, and he needs to be able to stop time in order to make sure everything's flowing correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And Ice King, because ice is cool. He gets 2 powers. But and the geek are discovering time travel, so he needs an apprentice to kind of regulate things for them.
Okay.
Time apprentice.
So, Gamet of the Rose Order gets the word, and Chronic has to take her
it could be.
organization down. Who is Chronic?
He's the apprentice.
Oh, okay.
And Gamet of Rose Order, she has a Mason working for her. Pretty strong Mason.
Trans and Faye,
Who are the parents of Jake Lumen.
have another child at request of the council. They name him Jake.
Again.
Jake and Alex spend time training together.
Alex is the first Lumen's soulmate. And although Alex has no affection for this Jake, she pretends to, because there's a plan for this new child. So this is where you are introduced to the story. Like, the first comic panels are coming up on the island Tatea, and you see the new Jake, who you think is the first one in the beginning, and he's like doing some training in the Tatean forest place where there's a swamp and a forest on the island.
Okay.
He's doing some training in there, then he hears his grandfather call out to him, and he rushes back, and Alex, as a joke, because they play a lot and fight a lot and train a lot and stuff like that, she trips him. But he falls down a hill and runs into a tree. Yeah, runs into a tree. And they end up aging, him and Alex end up aging instantly, like a couple 100 years, which brings them from childhood to teenage years. And they notice this change, and they're like, whoa, what happened? And Alex knows what's going on.
Okay.
It's her soulmate.
Ah.
Has now taken over the body, or entered the body of his brother.
Oh, interesting.
And they notice that Sanford, who's technically like an adoptive grandfather, to trans, which I explained in the first video, the second video, he doesn't call out a second time because Shang has developed this technique to train others of their energy and their life force and use it as his own, which makes Shang the strongest Tatean now. Almost the strongest being in the whole universe. Because Sanford was pretty strong, and Shang was pretty strong. Shang's wife was stronger, which was always going to be his opposition in his mind for taking over the universe.
Ah, okay.
But then he steals his power, and this is why in the saga Sanford would look so incredibly old even though he's immortal.
Oh, okay.
It's because his life force was drained. A whole lot of immortal life force draining just made him look really old.
Oh, okay. I see.
And yeah, so
So Jake tries to stop Shang, but fails, and Shang is killed by the Tatean Alfred. And then one last thing.
because of how much power he reached, the Tatean Alfred was like,
Oh,
he
right.
was like, you're too dangerous, and it just straight up zaps him, and he gets sent to the dead world.
Alfred? Or not Alfred, but
Shang. Shang gets sent to the dead world. Now, it wasn't just Jake who tried to stop him by using his once-in-a-lifetime rage form, which is something that Tateans have, that gives them 3 possibilities. Either they become infinitely strong, or they become just as strong as their opponent, or they become just stronger than their opponent enough to defeat them. But if they get hit once, it's gone. And he became just as strong as Shang, but ended up getting hit and getting out of it. And the Tatean Guardians, Milos, Wingo, and Psi-Factor summoned the sleeping Alfred and the Alfred came.
Ah, okay. Jake is banished.
Well, like I said, he became just as strong. He's not currently just as strong, but for reaching that power level, he had to leave.
Oh, okay.
Poor rage form. It's so tricky. It's great. It's just so tricky.
So, a Belthon from another universe crosses over to our universe.
You know, I discovered something with Belthans. I created them. But I discovered something since it wasn't just me who continued the Belthan storyline. I've had friends create other Belthans in their universes, and their names always start with Belth.
Ah. Okay.
But it's ridiculous for all Belthans to call themselves their names with Belth in front of it, because they're a race of Belthans. Like, they call themselves Belthans. Why would they also call themselves Belthazar, Belthanka, Belthomper,
Right?
Belzik? So they don't. They actually call themselves Azar,
Right.
Zomper.
Okay. Okay.
Just the last part.
Oh, okay. I see.
But when they're telling other people who they are, they call themselves with Belth in front.
Oh, okay. Especially if it's another race. Huh? Oh, I see. He senses the power levels present and hides himself to study them more.
Oh, because they're so strong in this universe now.
Oh, okay.
He has more backstory that's not important to this right now.
Okay. In Jake's banishment, he crosses paths with Belzor and dies.